Good morning, guys, or good afternoon, depending on what time you are hearing this. I am obviously not here today. I'm with a bunch of fifth graders going to Hershey Park. I'm pretty excited about that for Ryan's end of fifth grade field trip. He's been asking for me to go with him since the third grade, so I'm pretty excited about that. So I hope you guys have a great long weekend, but before you get to your long weekend, we are going to practice with your SMARTR goal. Next week, you are going to do your post-assessment. This year, you've done 2 of these graphs that have been scored, and we did a couple practice ones. So together we're going to do one practice one, and then you're going to do one on your own. So the first one we're going to do is Franklin Middle School. So let's read this. At the beginning of the year, we looked at how much money Rachel Carson Middle School spends each year on energy. In 2015, RCMS paid $265,692.42 for heating and electricity. Electricity makes up about 75% of the annual cost. For our practice assessment, we are going to look at Franklin Middle School's energy cost. Remember that Franklin is a smaller school. Let's break it down month by month. If we look at Franklin's electric bill every month in 2017 to 2018 and round off the amount, we see that electricity cost $9,672 in January, $10,833 in February, $9,989 in March. In April, it decreased slightly to $9,568 before increasing to $10,553 in May. In June, the bill was $12,451, then $11,857 in July. In August, the bill decreased to $11,530 and increased in September to $13,129. In October, they spent $11,530, then $10,700 in November, and $11,023 in December. All right, so our tasks are to create a data table and make a graph of that data. Let's take a look at how it's going to be scored. So our checklist, the first thing, the graph type is exactly correct. The graph is plotted exactly correct. Capitalized title in the format, the effect of the IV on the DV. Capitalize an exactly correct x-axis. Capitalize an exactly correct y-axis. Axis units, if needed, are corrected in parentheses. Appropriate key included if needed. Properly capitalized first and last name, date and period. That should be the easiest 1 point you get. Data table is exactly correct. So IV on the left, DV on the right. And the data table title is exactly correct. So we're going to put table 1.1. All right. I am going to leave behind for you this sheet. That is your SMARTR goal graphing planning sheet. So it says the title of the graph. So the title of your graph is going to start out the effect, and I want you to write this down on your planning sheet. The effect of the IV on the DV. If you're having trouble figuring out what the IV is, look at the DV. The DV is what you're measuring. So if we go back and look at our page, what we're looking at is the amount of money. So the cost in dollars. So that's going to be what we're measuring. So our DV is going to be cost of electricity, and we're measuring that in dollars. So in parentheses, we're going to put our dollar sign. Our IV is what's changing each time. So for this, what's changing is the month. So our title is going to be the effect of the month on the cost of electricity. So that's our title. Make sure it's capitalized. because you will lose points if it's not. It's a book title, so you're going to capitalize all of the words except for of and the that are in the middle. Right here, I bolded this for you. No key is needed. So when you make your graph, you're going to need to make sure that you take it out. So our data table, I want you to fill this out on paper before you actually put it in to the computer spreadsheet. That way you know what you're going to put where. All right, so our IB, we just said, is the month, and our DB is going to be the cost of electricity. So our month, we're just going to go down each month. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. If you need to pause this at any time, pause it so you can write it down. So our cost of electricity, I'm just going to go back to this and put my numbers in. So 9,672. February, 10,833. Let's go to March, 9,989. April, 9,568. May, 10,553. June is 12,451. July goes down to 11,857. August, we have 11,000. Am I right? Hold on. Oh, that's not right. It should be in August. The bill decreased to August 10,901. I'm not sure why I had that there. All right, so 10,901. September, 13,129. October is our 11,530. November, 10,700. Nice round number there. In December, $11,023. All right, so now we have this on our page, which is going to make it easier for us to put it into the graph. So now you're going to come to Google Classroom. Make sure you're doing the graphs on the right page. So you're going to do this on the Franklin graph practice. All right, so I'm going to make a copy of this. You don't need to make a copy. All right, the first thing that I'm going to do on mine is I'm going to write my first and last name, the date, and period. So, Catherine, do it. When you do this, it will be the 25th. 18, period. If you're in second period, put a 2. If you're in fourth period, put a 4. So, I'll put 24. All right, the next thing you're going to do is do your data table. So you're going to put table 1.1. Then you're going to make a table just like you did on your page. So our IB is the month, and our DB is the cost of electricity. and then you're just typing in here what you did before. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. If you are prone to spelling things incorrectly, go ahead and take a look at what I'm typing to make sure you spell it correctly. Because remember, that is part of what you're doing. All right, so 9,672, 10,833, 9,989, April, 9,568, May, 10,553, June, 12,451. You really don't need to put the comma there. 11,857, 10,901, September, 13,129, October, 11,530, November, 10,700, and December, 11,023. All right, now I like to put grid lines in. I think it just makes it easier to read. So to do that, just highlight all of the cells. You're gonna come over to this window looking thing that's labeled borders, and it's gonna be the first one. It's just gonna give you your outlined lines. Now to make your graph, you're gonna highlight all of those cells again, and you're gonna put insert chart. Sometimes it gives you the right chart, sometimes it doesn't. For this graph, your next practice graph, and for the assessment that you'll take, your post-assessment, is going to be a bar graph. So if you don't have a bar graph here, you need to change it to one. If you click where it says chart type, it's going to give you options for it. It needs to be this bar graph, okay? When you're making the bar graph, do not make it three-dimensional or change the color. It needs to just be simple like this. So once we have this put in, we're going to go to customize. And at customize, we're literally going to go through each drop down to check and see what we need to do. So the first one is chart style. We do not need to do anything in this one, so we can close that back up. For chart title and axis titles, right here for title text, this is where we're going to put the effect of the month on the cost of electricity. So that takes us care of one. Now we need to make sure we have the horizontal, which is good, and the vertical. Vertical, we need to make sure we add in parentheses the $sign so we know what the unit is. So we are good there. We can go ahead and close that up. Series, we do not need to have error bars, data labels, or a trend line, so we can close that back up. Legend, this is where you're going to get rid of this key that we don't need. So where it says position, click on that, and you're going to put none, and it's going to make it go away and make your graph a little bigger. We can go ahead and close that up. Horizontal axis, we do not need to do anything here. We do not need to do anything in vertical axis. And we do not need to add any grid lines. So we are done with our graph. So this is exactly how yours should look, and it should, on the next one that you do by yourself, look very similar to this as well, except for you're going to be doing it for Liberty. So once you're done with this, go ahead, exit out, and then hit the turn in on Google Classroom. Your next graph, which will be Liberty, which is our twin school, you're going to get another goal graphing planning sheet. You need to make sure that you fill out that planning sheet as well. and use that to help you create a graph just like this. Once you're done with that, you're going to turn in all of your planning sheets and make sure you turn it in on Google Classroom. I hope you guys have a great and safe long weekend.